What's going on, guys? This is Tristan with the Twins, and today we have a story from David, shout out to David. And if you guys want to send in your own questions for us to answer as a videographer, the description link below should have the Discord. It'll also have the email that you guys should send your questions to. And if you're not following us on all socials, it'll have all that stuff that you guys can find us on. So anyways, we'll jump right into it. David, thank you for sending in your question. Let's go. David said, honestly, I don't even know where to start with this. Okay, my friend, we are here for you. Let's jump in, right? I've been shooting for about 2.5 years now, and I feel like I'm working more than I ever have, but the income is all over the place. Wow, I can relate to you so heavy. That's totally a normal position to be in. And if you've been doing this, you said for about 2.5 years, I'm going to critique you pretty hard, man. 2.5 years is a really long time in a videographer space. Like most of the time, there's a couple of guys that are just getting started. If you guys have been doing this for over 2 years and your income is not steady yet, it's quite frankly just a business problem. There's no more a talent problem. And I just know that from pure experience. Okay, so let's see what he said next. So he said, I've been shooting for about 2.5 years now, right? Feels like his income was all over the place. Then he says, like last month I did 3,800 and the month before that I did 1,100. Same amount of work, completely different results. Okay, so if you did a jump from 3,800, by the way, $3,800 a month is good, but let's just be real, okay? 2.5 years in, you should not only be making 3,800. Let's just be very honest, okay? Like there are guys, videographers that just start that have been doing this maybe for 4 or 5 months that are making almost double, triple that. Now, of course, comparison is the thief of all joy, right? We don't have to compare ourselves to other, but what I will say, David, you guys should start dropping your Instagrams in here because I'd be very curious to see what your work looks like. And if you're a talented fellow, which I'm sure you are, there is no reason you should be in this range. And especially 1,100, I can almost guarantee that just because you don't have retainer clients, which again, stresses me out. Like you guys should have retainers, at least 3 to 4, bringing in close to 5 to 10K a month. And then that way, especially if you're going to shoot over 2 years, you guys are just flowing. That should only increase over time. Let's continue. David said, I can't figure out why. Well, I'm not saying I predicted it, but let's see, right? The thing is, I shoot everything. Weddings, real estate, and I even do events. I did a brand video for a restaurant a couple months back. David, you're killing me, man. There's already like 4 different niches in here, right? Weddings, real estate, events, weddings. Sorry, I said that already. But you get my point. That is way too many niches for one guy. Like you guys might hear of people saying, don't pick a niche, don't pick a niche. And maybe those are the people that own big video agencies, right? Where like you get a guy that goes, hey, I just sold a project for a automotive commercial and now I need to go look for a videographer. That's a different realm of business, okay? We are videographers that need to specialize in one thing, not 4. And if you're making $3,800 and you did all 4 of those shoots, that would really stress me out. Let's continue. You said, whatever comes in, I take because I feel like I can't afford to say no. I told myself that was smart, like cast a wide net and keep it busy. Okay, right? So right now, that's exactly what you're doing. You have a big net and you're just like, hey, any job that comes my way, I'm going to take. And because of that, it constantly feels like you don't know where income is coming from. Guys, that's a really nerve-wracking feeling. And I can feel for him totally because when Nick and I first started, quite frankly, we did the same thing. And we did it for about 6-7 months. We were not making that much money, but there were some months where we did pretty well. And that made us think we were doing things the right way. And we just had to keep making connections of different niches. And because we were making connections, they would eventually give us work and that would just evolve and continue. And don't get me wrong, that worked for a while. And it felt like we were on top of the world because we were hitting 10K months, 20K months. And then we started to crash and burn because there was no real way for us to know when we were going to have our next job if we didn't get a referral or if we didn't get an Instagram DM from someone that had seen our work from someone that had hired us, right? So it was just like this never-ending cycle of like battling with, am I going to continue to make consistent income? It's a bad feeling. Okay. David then said, but I'm starting to think it's actually hurting me because I don't really have a pitch. When someone asks what I do, I usually say, I shoot videos and photos. And that kind of is where the conversation dies. Okay, bingo, right? So when someone asks you guys what you do, I want you to think about this in a business sense, right? If someone is genuinely curious in hiring you, and when they ask, what do you specialize in or what do you offer? And you say, I'm a videographer and photographer. I want you to understand that sentence right there is very much so a commodity, because there are millions of other guys that do what you do, right? And now, are there other guys that maybe are as talented as you? Yes, but also maybe not. Maybe you do have a true talent in this space where there are a couple of those people. But that's not even the main point, because the point is that you don't need to be the most talented guy in the room to make 5 to 10K months. You just need to have structure in your business. And because of the fact that when this person asked you, what do you do? And you said, I'm a videographer. Well, that doesn't really help solve a problem that they might have, right? Because the videographer is not the problem. A camera is not the problem. Could they use their iPhone? Probably. It's not going to look like your camera. But the problem is they are hoping that you say something around the realms of what you're going to help them solve. So for instance, if a realtor comes to you and says, hey, what do you offer? And you say, I'm a videographer. Okay. But now if you say, I help realtors sell twice as many listings through short form content on Instagram, well, now you've just won over their hearts 10 times more, because they go, oh, wow, wait, hold on. I'm a realtor and I'm trying to do that, right? Rather than I just do videos. You should change that in your 100%. You should change that in your pitch. Let's see what it says next. I tried raising my prices at the start of the year and I lost 2 clients immediately. I dropped back down and I haven't touched it since. Wait, hold on. You dropped the camera? Okay, so he lost 2 clients because he raised his prices. This is a big one. This is a really big one. And let me tell you guys what my philosophy is on this, okay? If you are going to raise your prices, which every one of you should do, I'm a big believer in it's very hard to do that with clients that you've grandfathered in. And you have to make it very understanding to those clients that, hey, my prices are going up in 3 or 6 months from now. Don't just raise it on them immediately, right? That feels really, really silly and unfair. They took a gamble on you when you first started. You should kind of live up to that a bit, right? So let them know, hey, starting the new year, if that's 6 months from now, right? Whatever, you have to sacrifice a little bit. They sacrificed by coming to you when you were first starting, right? Tell them, hey, starting in 3 months, starting in 6 months, right? We are raising our prices. Justify why, right? Justify it. Don't just say I'm raising it, because now you sound like a landlord. Justify why you're raising it, and then also give them the option, because at that point, they shouldn't have to stick with you if you haven't been providing a level of service that's worth the raise. Don't just raise a price with no justification, right? If you are justifying it and maybe adding on a certain service and they've been with you for a while, let's just say most clients will understand whether or not they decide to continue with you or they don't. Don't just raise it out of the blue and go, oh, well, jump on if you want to. And if you don't want to, see you later. Thank you for everything. That is inevitably going to burn a bridge. And not only just that, it's not justifiable. It makes you look like an amateur, because now it's like, well, wow, yeah, I gave him 4 months of my business and now he wants to raise the price on me. Kind of unfair, right? So anyways, I hope when you said that you dropped back down and haven't touched it since, I hope you don't mean the camera. I hope you don't mean you gave up. But let's see. Now I'm scared to even bring it up. I'm charging $750 for a real estate package, and I know that's low, but I don't know how to justify charging more when there are 10 other guys in my city charging the same or less. Wow, okay, this is a great question, guys. If you are charging $750 for a real estate package and you're worried about Joe and Schmo and John that are also charging $500 or $750, there's one very, very similar problem with all 3 of you or 4 of you or 100 of you is that you're charging for videos. You're not charging for the sense of what is this actually going to do for my client, right? And that's what's going to separate you, is if you are the guy that comes into the pitch and goes, hey, we do 10 videos a month for you guys, edited on a beautiful cinematic camera. It's going to look amazing for your brand. How did you want to pay? Yes, you will probably get ghosted, right? But if you go, hey, I specialize in realtor videography and all I do is help realtors grow and sell twice as many luxury listings with short form content via TikTok and Instagram, and it's all I do for the last 2.5 years. How did you want to get started? Now you've opened a conversation that's about what they're getting rather than what you're selling, right? So you have to give them a little bit of insight as to why you're different. Most guys are going to pitch $500 packages and just want to show up, roll a video, deliver the footage. That is not you. That should not be you guys from now on. And if it is you, yes, quite frankly, you should get paid $500 to $700. There's no real competition when it comes to this because a lot of other guys don't understand how to sell outcomes. They're all selling videos. So be different, okay? And if you don't know how to be different, that's the sole reason we created the Videographer Business Playbook. So if you haven't already seen it or read it, I encourage you to do so. It tells you guys exactly how to pick your niche, how to structure your offers, how to price, so you don't have to worry about all this stuff, right? So then he said, I picked up the systems bundle and I've been going through the playbook and it's genuinely changing how I'm thinking. That's awesome. Okay, now, number one, David, you have lots of work to do, my man. What I would say is heavily read the Videographer Business Playbook. And then if you're struggling on sales, which most of the time people only struggle on sales realistically because they don't have a strong offer, right? So if you don't have a strong offer, if you can't tell people what you're going to deliver for them rather than just videos, all your sales calls are going to feel like a brick wall or a dead end because you're going to feel like you're just trying to sell your services, which inevitably is why most videographers are just a commodity. We want to sell outcomes. So read those playbooks. But in a nutshell, for people that don't have the bundle or the Videographer Business Playbook, you guys should be pitching what the client will receive from your work in form of, will they grow on Instagram? Will they get more followers? Will they get more leads? Will they start to get business? Sell that instead of selling, here's a 4K video, right? Lastly, then he said, okay, but I get stuck on the offer section because I don't know what the result I'm actually selling is. That's exactly what I was just covering. If you guys don't understand what a result is, it just means when you are now pitching to the client, you no longer want to get into the videos you are going to give them. That's not as important to them as to, well, hey, is this going to grow me on social media? Is this going to get me business? Sell that part of things. And eventually, if you guys want to start running ads for your clients, you can, but it's not necessary, especially because right now we are in a day and age of organic content. If you can perform good enough for your clients organically, which is a skill, and it's why you should get paid. If you can create good organic content for your clients, they're going to be happy and satisfied and they're going to pay you. Okay. So lastly, he said, okay, would love to hear how you would break down an offer for me and how I should go forward. Well, first and last, thank you, David, for sending in your question. And if you guys need to send in your questions, please, the email is in the description. Feel free. I'll answer anything for you guys as long as it's relative to videography or your creative business. But yes, how I would do it, man, is starting from the top as to what you said. You were making about $3,800 a month. First and foremost, you must up your prices. If you guys are not making at least $5,000 a month, there's a problem. And the only problem with that is that we just don't have structure, right? We don't know exactly how many clients we should have to get to $5,000. There should not be 10 clients at $500. No, it should be like 2 or 3 at either 2,000-ish range or 3,000-ish range to get ourselves to $5,000. And the only way you can justify that is by selling the right kind of things, which is outcomes, not videos. So David, work on your offer. Take tons of time, especially in the Videographer Business Playbook, to really work on your offer. Once you have your offer crystal clear, you guys will be able to sell way more and you're going to make your clients a lot more happy. So anyways, thank you guys again for tuning into this video. If you guys have a problem that you want us to answer as the twins or me, right, drop it in the description below. And also feel free to join our Discord community where there are, I think, over 200 other videographers in there right now that we're growing with that genuinely ask really good questions all the time about their own businesses. So feel free to join the Discord below. And if you're here from Discord, that's what's up. Also feel free to send in a question. We're super happy to answer it. And again, I'll see you guys in the next one.